All right. Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm a little late. Just have to finish up a couple of things. But we are here. We have 4 minutes left until the market open. 4 minutes until the market open. Markets are pretty flat this morning. Nothing too crazy that's going on. Overall, nothing too wild, but there is some different stuff going on. Vincent, Kevin, Mr. Emilio San, morning from Denmark. Emilio San, that's dope. John Smith, Mr. Russo, Kane, Quarantine Quartet, right on time. I love it. Zion, Luca, Jason, Joshua, Storm, Bucker, Arjun. There should be a mic. You guys should be able to hear me. They just increase the volume and all that stuff. Let's get into the market right now. Reza, Midwest, Geis, Everclear, Scarf Check, Caused by Not, Yo, Amit, hello from Finland. Bro, Finland is so dope. What's up? I love it. That's so cool. Stealth Ninja, love your broadcast. Thank you, Stealth, for being here. Ramu, good morning. Can you shout out my name? Stealth Ninja, shout out to Stealth Ninja. Ty, what's up? Alice, new Twitter CEO. Yeah, we talked about it last night on Finance Junkies. It's probably going to be the NBC lady because she's like big in advertising. But I mean, if they surprise us and show someone else, I would love for it to be some wild new CEO that Elon handpicks. That would be crazy. Crossroads, what's up? Adam, I see, what's up? Thank you for being your secco. It's not 29:20. No, it's the last 2 days. I just had so much to do in the morning. That's why I started at 9:25. But we should be at 9:20. Starting again next week. We should be there. The S&P is up, ladies and gentlemen. NASDAQ is up. Palantir at 990. Where is the S&P? How many minutes do we have? We have 2 minutes till market open. S&P at 413. I will be interested to see if there's going to be a sell-off today of the regionals. Let's actually go to the regionals right now. What do we have? So Truist is up. PacWest. PacWest is up. Okay. What about Wall? Western Alliance. Western Alliance is up. How about TFC? TFC is up. Okay, so the big banks or the regionals are up a little bit. JPM is up as well. Yeah, the market's really fat in the morning. I mean, like there's some stocks that are up a little bit. Tesla at 175. Palantir's up a little bit. S&P's up a little bit. Apple's barely up. Besides that, everything else is pretty flat. Nothing too crazy. I think the market's had enough fun over the past 4 days. And they're just like, you know what? I am so tired of everything going on. We're just gonna relax at this point. We're just gonna relax, okay? We are just gonna relax. Trade with Skill, what's up? Good morning. Trade with Skill just put out a good Palantir Q1 earnings review. So definitely go to his channel and check it out. Greg Fletcher, thank you for the $2 super sticker, if that's what YouTube calls it. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Martin Pilda, hello, Amit. What's up, everybody? 9:30 a.m. May 12th, 2023. Here we go. Stock market is now open. Wake your ass up. The stock market is open. Here we go. Tesla 175. It was at 162 last week, so it's done a nice little recovery on its path back to 180. Open Door is up. Palantir 984, down just 0.46%. DraftKings is up. Enphase up at 2.05%. Ginkgo Bioworks was at 140 this week, 133. I didn't cover the earnings, but the earnings were okay. Kathy Wood bought another 3 million shares yesterday of Ginkgo, so fine. We just need to see some more sustained momentum on Ginkgo for it to have any price action on the stock that can appreciate. Amazon at 112, Roku at 56.61, Robinhood at 941, Snapchat 872, Upstart. I think it had a nice little 40% rally. It came down a little bit, but Upstart at 16, Airbnb 111, Apple 173. Apple's been flat at 173 the entire week after earnings. So Apple's been stuck there. SMCI 138, Super Micro Computers, NASDAQ 12,355, Disney 92. Disney's continuing to go down because investors did not like their earnings. Paramount is down from 16 to 15, Shopify 62, SoFi at 513, Meta at 236. What else do we have? ARK G at 38. Where's RK? I think it's at like 35, right? 38.77. Trade Desk had earnings. I didn't get to go through those, but those, so that's a 60.45. Yeah, it's been pretty boring, bro. It's not been that interesting this morning, at least. Everything's pretty basic. 413 on the S&P 500. 500. Thank you for another $2 super sticker, guys. I appreciate it. Means a lot. Origin023, thank you for that. Theo morning to the dream team. Good morning. Alex Karp, please give Amit a video call and surprise him on the stream yard. Could you imagine if Karp just joins in one day? I don't even know what question I would ask him, bro. That would be crazy. How much will Tesla rally for our boy Elon? Oh, yeah, that's another reason that Tesla's up. Because now Elon has more time to spend on Tesla and not worry about Twitter. So that also makes a lot of sense. Adam the Berg, what's up, bro? Thank you for being here. Market has been violently flat. Awesome for selling puts. That is true. It is good for selling puts. Nintendo up 2%. Why is Zelda? Does Zelda have a new game or something? Why is it up 2%? Apuvera, good morning. Did Gabe close his NVIDIA shorts? I have no idea what Gabe has done. I have no clue. If Karp comes on the show, the first question to ask is, why is this the first time? That would be wild. All right, let's go into CNBC. Let's see what thoughts they have. We'll do the Twitter stuff. Let's see what they're saying about Twitter. Obviously, this is a big deal because it frees up Elon's time. But let's see who they think.
Musk has found a new CEO for Twitter. The billionaire didn't give a name, but tweeted just about an hour ago that she would start in about 6 weeks, and that he would transition to the role of executive chairman and chief technology officer. Shares of Tesla jumping on this news as investors hope that Musk will be able to turn his attention back to the EV maker. Guys, should we be happy? Should Tesla shareholders be happy?
In the short term, I think yes, because I think the negative case for Tesla is he's taking his eye off the ball. Twitter's been too much. He's not focused enough on Tesla. The stock is traded in kind. So the knee-jerk reaction is higher. It makes sense, and we're a level where it should bounce. Who's the person coming in, though, for Twitter? I mean, and I have people tweeting at me.
Does it matter?
Sheryl Sandberg, that's a name. Marissa Mayer, maybe that's a name. I don't necessarily know if it matters. The Twitter problems seem to be pretty substantial.
If Twitter were a publicly traded company, we would care. Unless you think that the person is incompetent, in which case Elon Musk will be sucked back into Twitter, and so then you again lose the CEO of Tesla.
Look at you. Look at you.
But I don't know. Do you have any hot takes, Dan, on who she might be?
Not really. Cheryl's not taking that job. I mean, like, first of all, that person's a puppet. Okay, that person is not a real CEO. Remember, he wholly owns this company, and he's on the hook for, probably still $12 billion in debt for it. So that person's going to be doing exactly what he wants to be doing. And I do think the knee-jerk reaction in Tesla makes some sense. Is a huge overhang that he is like spending his nights on a cot in the Twitter headquarters and trying to retool something that, frankly, is over. It's done. Twitter's dead. Put a fork in it.
Julie.
What? Is this guy on Twitter? Bro, I was texting my friends the same thing. They were like, Twitter's dead. I was like, you guys are... I don't think you guys realize there's 250 something million people a day on this thing. 8 billion minutes a day spent. Like, Twitter is not dead. I don't know if it's just because I'm on Twitter, but like Twitter, there's a lot of people using Twitter. It's like the number 17 app on the App Store. Like, Twitter is not dead. I mean, at least that's not what I'm seeing, but I don't know. I guess these people maybe don't use it enough, and it's close to break even, so it's not even like losing as much money as they were before Elon.
Really?
I mean, I think it's interesting if you think about Twitter overall, right? It's not just that it has to work. It's because these major debt payments, they are connected to Tesla stock, right? The value of Twitter is actually connected to the value of Tesla stock. So if Twitter starts to really flail as it has, or I should say continues to flail as it has, it actually has an impact for Tesla shareholders because he's going to have to sell more of his stock in order to make the debt payments. So I actually think they're still very much interlinked. Again, I totally agree this is going to be a puppet. But I just think that it's naive to think, like it's all clear, like he's going to be focusing on Tesla and we have nothing to worry about. He's still focused on Tesla. He changes the price like every other day. Like he's definitely still working out there.
Bonawyn.
Yeah, I mean, I think on the surface, right, I think a lot of times Tesla, particularly when you see news, it's like a headline-driven. I think Dan mentioned like a mania type of driven or profit type of driven. You called it a cult, if I remember correctly, on perhaps one of our shows.
No.
Right? Hold on.
In and around. No, but you're mischaracterizing what I'm saying. I've said that around Elon, not about Twitter.
My apologies.
Twitter.
My point is, I think a lot of times the share price reacts off of things that aren't necessarily material to the company when it pertains to operations. So I think Elon has always been involved when it comes to Tesla. Again, apologies, Dan. I think now the headline does definitely give a bit of a lift because the perception is that he's now spending the time that I would argue and purport that he already was spending. The guy is laser focused on what he's doing, but I do think this at least gives some reprieve to the pressure that's been on the stock.
I do agree that whoever this is going to be a puppet, and they just need to do whatever Elon lets them do. But I mean, that's kind of like, if you want to keep the free speech platform actually free, you need to have someone who's going to believe in everything Elon believes. Because if they start making their own decisions like Dorsey was doing, there's going to start to be more censorship. And you just don't want that. So it's got to be a puppet. It's just got to be a good puppet who can actually get advertisers to come back. Honestly, bro, like I am so happy that Elon bought Twitter, because the free speech stuff really does matter, man. Like you couldn't talk freely on that platform because these fucking overlords are going to decide what you get to say or don't say at the most extreme level. At the most basic levels. Like, oh, you said this word, you're done. It's just like, I'm just like, Elon saved it. And I'm not even that big of an Elon stan, even though I am an Elon stan, but like, I'm happy Elon did that. Artist here, thank you again, a super sticker, $4.99. I appreciate you guys. Artist here means a lot, man. Thank you for that. Amit, what time is it? It is 9:38 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, I think you're asking the other question. The time is now. The time is always now. But yeah, I mean, look, we need Elon to pick someone who believes in free speech. If she doesn't believe in free speech, Elon's going to boot her immediately. She starts making these ideological decisions. So the question is, who is it going to be? You know who I think it's going to be? I think it's just going to be AOC, to be honest. I think Elon's in love with her. You know, the motivation for most guys to do anything in life ends up being for a girl. And I think he likes AOC. And because I think he likes AOC, he's going to get her. He's going to get her. I'm just kidding. But yeah, that would be funny if he did get her. Could you imagine if she said yes? That would be even crazier. That would be crazier. Okay. Let's see what else we've got going on. What else? Sorry guys, just had to sneeze. Let me see. Let's get a little bit more coverage on. I just sneezed 3 times in a row, bro. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. Oh, we got our girl. Our girl's back on CNBC. Hold on. We got to click on this one. And they're talking about inflation, so it's relevant, but we got to click on this one because it's our girl. All right. She followed me on Twitter, but she didn't respond to my DM yet. All right.
We've decided Bowman. Speaking early this morning at a symposium in Germany, she said the U.S. central bank should be prepared to continue lifting interest rates because inflation remains too high and the labor market is too tight. She said she wasn't confident that the Fed is making enough progress slowing down economic activity and inflation. We told you yesterday about similar comments from Richmond Fed President Thomas Barkin, but unlike Barkin, Michelle Bowman will have a vote at the June meeting. Implying that Mr. Barkin will not. I don't know. She just doesn't think Branch, managing partner at Veritas Financial Group, as well as a CNBC contributor, and Gunjan Banerjee, lead writer for the Wall Street Journal's live.
Gunjan, that's our girl.
Markets coverage. She's also a CNBC contributor. Greg, you're up there. I'll be right with you, Gunjan. Just let me start with Greg. Sometimes I'm like the chorus or maybe the groundlings or something, like shouting things at I don't really mean all this, but you understand what I'm saying, don't you, Greg? Isn't there a better way to try to manage an economy than having all these different people willing to talk at any time, and we got to report on it breathlessly. I just wish the private sector could do what it wanted to do and not be so dependent on central bankers.
Well, I think you might have hit it on the head a few seconds ago, Joe. This might be the only way, given the way that we're structured. I'm sure that we would all love for the answer to come harmlessly from the supply side, but how do we increase the supply of labor without triggering the politicians? It's one of the things that our country will likely have to deal with because it reflects on our immigration policy. We need more workers. We simply don't have enough, and wage pressure will continue while that is the case.
And we can't pay people to stay home either. And that's another politically unpalatable thing as well, Greg. That's why we're in this kind of.
Right. And barring the extraordinary circumstances, certainly entitlements need to be addressed because they drive demand. And so I don't know if there is any safe lever.
Need another how many basis points given just what happened yesterday? Can I just say PacWest? So how many basis points have we already gotten implied from what's happened in the banks for the past month and a half? Add another 100 on. So why do they have to do anything?
You know, investors are expecting this bank crisis to lead to a tightening in credit conditions. And I think that's why a lot of people have started to price in that pause at the next meeting. What's fascinating is that despite these Fed comments that we.
By the way, this is what Chris was saying yesterday. He was like, the Fed is starting to think seriously of pausing because of this crisis that might come because of credit conditions.
Saw overnight, by and large, a lot of investors seem to be looking past some of the recent inflation data. And we've seen that in terms of decreasing volatility after these CPI releases. The S&P 500 has moved around 0.6% after CPI this year. That's some of the lowest volatility we've seen since 2019, before inflation even came into the picture. So that tells you investors are expecting inflation to decline, kind of in sharp contrast to what we heard overnight from the Fed.
Yeah. When I said 100 basis points, you think that's about, what, 75, 50, 75? What do you think the credit contraction is good for that the Fed does not have to do?
I think that's the big question. I think the tough thing is that takes a long time to play out. It takes a while for these tightening credit conditions to ripple through the economy. So for all these investors, hoping that this would be a lightning fast kind of downturn and rebound, that's definitely not the case. And that's why this recession that everyone thought would come in the first 2 quarters of the year just hasn't come yet.
Now, as Fut says in the chat, let's get it right, though. The Fed is not cutting rates. Maybe by the end of the year, we get at least one rate cut, but a pause is what we're looking for. If we can get a pause, things are still going to go a little bit closer to the moon. If we get a cut, we're going to a different galaxy, okay? If we get 2 cuts, we are going to a different universe. But we got to get the pause first. Palantir just hit $10. Now it's down 4 cents, 9.96. It's been doing well. You guys got to give it up to Palantir. I mean, I personally thought it would come back to 7 by the end of this week. I was like, nope, there's no way. I was like, this momentum dies off. But I think gap profitability, Kathy buying in, and overall demand for AIP led to the price target increases, which led to the street, the new either retail or institutions that bought in, to actually hold it and legitimately hold it. So, I mean, you got to give it up to Palantir for maintaining 990 around 10. I really did not expect it. I was telling people it's going to be back down to 7. And I'm one of the biggest bulls on Palantir, but I'm realistic on its price action. I'm like, last time it went up 30% and then it just went right back down. And so we will see. Amit, are you lose green on Palantir? Not yet. So some parts I am green on, but not fully. Yes, Sachin will be on Palantir Weekly tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, there we go. At 19 minutes and 19 seconds, we have hit on the morning stream for, I think, the 4th night in a row. Or fourth morning in a row. 300. Thank you, 300 people, for being here. It means the world. And look at the notification I just got from Robinhood. Right when we rang the bell, Enphase is up. You guys see that? 5.2% to 169. The reason for this is because, as Chris said in the chat, Jim Cramer said Enphase is a sell. And so Enphase, of course, had to go up when Jim Cramer said it's a sell. There's no way we can go up if Jim Cramer doesn't say that. So that's great. That's amazing. I think we'll see 8 again, 6s and unlikely 7s maybe. Yeah, I mean, look, I agree with this Crossroads. For Palantir to hold 9 for the next couple of weeks, if we stabilize at 9, I'll be so happy. Like my portfolio will be so happy, but I don't know if we stabilize at 9. If it does go down again, though, back up the truck. If it does go down again, back to the 7s, this is when all the bulls need to realize we got a little bit of an opportunity once again. If they don't raise the debt ceiling, we crash the market. Well, they're going to raise the debt ceiling. I mean, the Dems and the Republicans are negotiating right now, and they're not going to let the economy falter. I mean, no, Joe Biden doesn't want that. The Republicans don't want that. It's just America has a lot of debt, and I don't think we're ever getting rid of that debt, and that's just how it is. That's just how it is. What's going on with SoFi? Is it because FUD with banks? Yeah, I mean, SoFi's quarter was great. It's just the regional banks are taking it down. It's actually up today, 5.21. It was down at 470 on Monday. So the fact that it's actually up and recovering, on Thursday last week, and it recovered. So yeah, I mean, SoFi is down just like with the regular banks. Jamie Dimon says he wants all shorting of banks to be illegal at the hopes of helping Google, by the way, up at 117, helping the economy. I don't know if the United States will actually pass that. I think if we get another regional bank to fail, like another FRC to just go totally under because deposits just hit the window and there's a bank run, I think the United States will have to do it. I don't think we're at the point where another regional bank is going to fail yet. I mean, there's still a long way to go, especially with the commercial real estate exposure and the credit tightening that's going on. So, like, theoretically, it might be happening in the back scenes and none of us know that it's going on, which is pretty much what happened to FRC, right? We didn't really understand how it was going on. But if it does, then the Fed's going to have to do something. They're going to have to do something. Hundo in disguise as a debate champion. It's just more cool. I think where did I get the word hundo from? I got it from I got it from somebody. Instead of saying hundo, they said hundo, and I always just picked it up since then, and I just kept saying hundo. That's just how it ends up turning out. All right, let's continue to see some other stuff that's going on here. Okay, so this is the lady that people are saying is going to be the CEO of Twitter. So this is the lady. Let's take a look at her. NBC Universal ad chief.
Let's bring in Julia Boorstin, who's obviously been following this story for us as well and has more. Julia.
David, NBC Universal officially announcing that Linda Yaccarino will be leaving the company and that Mark Marshall is being named interim chairman, global advertising and partnerships, and he will be reporting up to Mark Lazarus, who's chairman of NBC Universal Television and Streaming. Now, there are some statements in this release here from Mike Cavanaugh, president of Comcast, saying they're grateful for Linda's contributions during her 12-year tenure, wishing her the best. Linda Yaccarino saying it's been an honor to be part of this team and everything they've accomplished together. It's my understanding that she will be joining Twitter as CEO, and we're looking out for an announcement from Elon Musk, who was together with her at a WPP conference earlier this week. But a big transition for Linda Yaccarino, who's been at CNBC's parent company, NBC Universal, for a dozen years. And just want to point out here, David, that this all does come ahead of the upfront ad sales period, which is a crucial period for the whole media industry. Linda Yaccarino would have been the one to lead a big presentation that is scheduled for 10:30 a.m. on Monday morning in Manhattan. Now it looks like that's going to be led by Mark Marshall and by the rest of the people on Linda's team. And then, of course, this all builds up to the Cannes Advertising Festival that's in June, where a lot of those deals are made with major advertisers. So big transition. And then, of course, the question is, when will she start at Twitter? Will it be 6 weeks, which is what Elon Musk tweeted out yesterday, or will it be sooner? And will she be representing Twitter at the Advertising Festival in Cannes? And of course, David, we'll see what the vision is for Twitter under her leadership.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the right side of the screen. Elon and her have talked before, so he knows her. Wow, I didn't know that.
A couple of those questions I think I might be able to answer. My understanding is Lazarus actually will do the brief presentation at the upfronts, and that the expectation is she will have to sit out for a bit, so she gets to enjoy a few weeks off. So perhaps it will be as little or as much as 6 weeks, Julia, before. They don't want her necessarily working at Twitter while the upfronts are going on. So my understanding is there will be a gap. She's no longer at NBC, but she won't be at Twitter perhaps for the 6 weeks.
Okay, I think it's going to be her. I didn't know Elon actually knew her before, so it seems likely that that's going to be her. I love that in the chat we're talking about Palantir at $300. Bro, Palantir at $300. Remember, it needs to hit 500 to get to $1 trillion, and that's factoring in dilution, 3% over the next 7 years, till 2030. If it's at 300, you're assuming like a $750 billion market cap, something like that, 800 billion. If Palantir gets to $300, which I don't think is going to happen, I think we can, hopefully by 2030, we can get to 100, 150, unless there really is an S curve and this shit gets to crazy levels. If we get to Salesforce did get to 300 though. That did happen. Now, granted, that happened in the craziest time to be alive, which was 2020. Salesforce did get, it got to 311. So Salesforce and Palantir gets compared to Salesforce. I think Palantir has a lot more potential than Salesforce. But Salesforce actually has a Salesforce. Palantir doesn't have a Salesforce. That's also the problem with their go-to-market. But if Palantir gets to 300, like here's the thing. Salesforce was what, $2, 2004? It got to 300 in what, 2021? So that's 17 years. So for us to get to 300, if we follow the same trajectory at $10, well, when did we hit $10 on Salesforce? $10 was around 2009. So 2009 to 2020 is actually 11 years. Or sorry, 2009 to 2021. Yeah, 11. No, 12 years. So if we want to get there and we bought it right now, today's 2023, 2034. I would be 37 years old in 2034. If everything goes perfect and we follow Salesforce's trajectory to $300, and then you have to sell right at the top because it's not staying at 300. It's going right back down to 153. So you got to, I think at 200, at 250, a lot of people would be selling. I mean, like if it gets to 200, 250 and there's still room to grow, there's still buyers. That means they still have to be growing. The market still has to believe there's a story. Yeah, it's going to be unlikely. But if it does happen, 2034, at 37, hopefully I have 2 girls and 1 boy. That's my dream for a family. I can look at them dead in the face one morning. They come home from school. I'm like, hey, Max and Jessica. That's not what I'm going to name them. But if that was the case, I would be like, remember all those videos I was making 17 years ago? They paid off, okay? They fucking paid off. Solomon says $683 billion market cap, man. That would be wild, bro. That would be wild. 6 weeks off. Yeah, those 6 weeks off are to get ready for Twitter. That's the same reason. Yeah, it's definitely her, bro. It's definitely her. Why 2 girls, 1 boy? I really don't want 3 boys because I grew up with a sister, and I think women make you more compassionate and empathetic. I don't want 2 boys and 1 girl because I feel like the girl will get kind of bullied by the 2 boys, and there might be some isolation and stuff that goes on. I would love 2 girls because I think the girls will get along, and then the boy because he'll learn from the 2 girls. I want the boy to be younger than the girls as well. I just like that comment. I also want 3 because I've had a sister and we've always been 2, and like I love my sister, but I think 3 would be so cool. Just to have 3 kids. Daddy's buying you that pony. Yep. At 300, Mitt will be flying business class. Nope, I'm still flying commercial. I'm still flying economy. I'm never flying. I've told you guys I'm never flying first class. I mean, I've never done it. I'm never doing it. Amit, what happened with the NHS contract? Do we know? Look, we're getting the NHS deal. Palantir put out another letter the other day. Not a letter, but like an article talking about, was this on their Twitter? They were talking about more reduced wait times in the NHS or some shit. No, it wasn't on the Twitter. It was another website I saw. We're getting the deal. It's just going to be announced probably October, November. And when we get that deal, it is going to be such a good deal because I don't expect it to have any impact on the stock. But over the next 3 years, what we're going to do with the NHS, with our digital transformation, every single socialized healthcare system on the planet is going to look to the United Kingdom as the leading national healthcare system. And they're going to be like, how are you guys doing it? They're going to say Palantir. They're going to be like, we need to get some fucking Palantir. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And it's going to be quite wonderful to watch in real time over the next couple of years because Palantir's just going to get a lot more deals. That's it. It's going to be dope. But we don't have the official announcement yet on it. Now, someone was asking about Ginkgo Bioworks. Again, Ginkgo is think of Ginkgo as a AWS or iOS app store of synthetic biology. To understand Ginkgo, you have to understand what synthetic biology is. You have to understand what the platform play looks like in tech, which is everything loses until one wins. Like the App Store on iOS has a lot of shitty apps, but they also have TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, right? Those that drive most of the downloads. Amazon Web Services powers a lot of companies that don't do anything, but then Netflix and Spotify use them, which pay a lot of the bills. So a platform-like approach is you outsource the platform, you allow anyone to use it, and you hope there's a couple of winners that use it, and then you have an equity stake, at least Ginkgo does, in those winners from a drug perspective. And synthetic biology just means that you can synthetically create anything. For example, some of their clients have created synthetic marijuana. So the market for Ginkgo theoretically is bigger than the market for any AI company because biology is like making plastic cups, right? Everyone in the world uses plastic cups. If you can synthetically create that, boom, you've got a very big business. The problem with Ginkgo is that they're not scaling fast enough, and they're also just very young. And I think it's going to take them a good 10, 15 years to really get to where they need to be. But at $1.26, do I think it gets to $2.50? Yes, I do. I just think the valuation is also pretty stretched, right? At $1.26, the valuation is $2.47 billion. So the market doesn't like them yet because they're down from $15. So I would wait on Ginkgo. Let them show you some more execution, and then you can decide a little bit more. But it'll take some time. Their customer list is insane. And look, I like their CEO and their management. They were selling a crap ton of shares last year, which I didn't like. But overall, I still like the company. And the wife goes off to her CNBC job. Bro, could you imagine? I have a wife who works at CNBC and I'm still doing YouTube, and bro, that'd be wild. That'd be wild. That'd just be so cool. I kind of don't want my wife to be involved in stocks though, because I kind of want to not talk to her about that. Banking stocks struggling to hold. Yeah, look, it's also Friday. Look, again, the banking stocks, guys, we talked about this all last night on Finance Junkies. You need to look into Truist. You need to look into Truist. This company knows what the hell they're doing. The baby was thrown in with the bathwater. They are not a company that deserves to be at COVID lows. I mean, look at this. Just look at the fucking charts. This was trading at a range from 45 to 50 for years because they have a beautiful dividend at almost 8%. Falls to 20 during COVID. Understandable. COVID. By November 2020, comes right back to 45. Stays in a range from 45 to like 50. It hit a high of 64 for the next 3 years. And then falls. Where's the next drop? When Silicon Valley Bank collapses. Back down to COVID levels. But 2 times it's ever been at this price have been catastrophic events. And COVID was much more catastrophic than, Silicon Valley, even though that was really bad, right? But since then, it's been range bound. And you have to ask yourself why. And that's where the due diligence comes in. This is a company that does not deserve to be at this price. And as a result of that, I think once the Fed starts pausing rates, if not cutting rates, once the market starts waking up to this, once banks start to stabilize, once deposits get normalized, once all this stuff blows over in the next 6 months, there's going to be a massive rebound in some of these regionals. And again, you could say, well, Amit, why couldn't you say the same about FRC? FRC had a deposit problem. FRC had a bank run. If you do your due diligence, Truist, they are very unlikely, if not impossible, to have a bank run because 55% of their depositors are small businesses. They're not like you and me. So you can't just take your money out of Truist if you're a local mom and pop retailer, right? A laundromat, and just go put it somewhere else, because that's not how your relationship works with the bank. When you get money from a bar, you get $1,000 in cash, you have to put it somewhere. You can't just put it into SoFi. You can't just put it into JP Morgan, especially if you don't have an established relationship with them. So, I mean, this is one you got to look into. I would just say it's worth looking into. Amid supposedly an analyst put a price target on $8 on Truist, saw it on stock. Yeah, that analyst is a fucking idiot. Whoever there's people that still have price targets of $5 on Palantir after their amazing earnings. Like, this is, again, do your own due diligence. Do your own due diligence. Don't buy it because I'm saying I like it. I'm saying I like it because this is my channel and there's picks that I like. Chris obviously really likes it, and I've been doing, me and Chris's group chat is just blowing up with due diligence around Truist. Like, all we do, because, okay, we did an options play on it. I have like 5 shares, so I don't have a lot of shares. And the options play is, I'm not saying do an options play at all. I'm just saying the options play that I personally wanted to do. This is a opportunity where I finally found a company that is down with a whole sector, free cash flow positive, is likely to come back, is range bound. This is my personal decision with my money. I was like, this is the time I want to take a more asymmetrical risk because I've never taken that big of a risk on a company. I've always been buying and holding these stocks. So I finally wanted to do an options play. And if I'm correct on Truist, and if it just gets right back to the price level I wanted it to get to, there's going to be a lot of money that is made. And so that's why I think it's important. But do your own due diligence on this. It really isn't. Isn't this a story for many regional banks? No. There's 2 reasons, Harsha, this is not the story. So number one, a lot of regional banks they've overexposed themselves to commercial real estate, and work from home is not reversing fast enough for the loans or for the financing of those businesses, of those buildings, to not default, essentially. And credit tightening is happening, right? So as a result of that, if you have a regional bank and you have a lot of exposure to commercial real estate, you're kind of screwed right now. Truist has the lowest exposure to commercial real estate out of all the banks. There's a good chart. I think it's on Chris's Twitter. You can check it out. I'll try to pull it up as well. So on a commercial real estate front, that is one thing that differentiates it. Second of all, is their depositor demographics, right? When 55% of your depositors are small businesses in the South, that it's a small pizza store in Florida that makes $600 today, and they have to go deposit it at the end of the week, they're not going to not deposit it into Truist. You know what I mean? They're not going to not. Whereas if you're a regular, like FRC, those people were like millionaires. Like they had a lot of money. If they want to take their money out, they go online, they say transfer money, all of their money comes out and goes to JP Morgan in a second. These were very high net worth individual people. I think the average was like $3-4 million of net worth. So that's why it was so easy for there to be a bank run. It's much more easier if you're a laundromat, you've had a 15-year relationship with your local Truist bank, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to just completely destroy that and take away. Like that just doesn't happen naturally, right? So the bank run from that perspective doesn't happen. I have 47 Enphase shares. 47 Enphase shares. Amit, I'm a doctor in the NHS. Would you chat to you about how Palantir is affecting the NHS? Yeah, I would love to. Email amit@dailypalantir.com. And you can send me an email, or we can do a podcast if you want. Amit@dailypalantir.com. Oh, your wife going to CNBC I was referring to as Gunjan. I think she's kind of old for me, guys. Like by the time I'm 34, she'll be like either 50 or 47 or something. I would still marry her. It's up to her, but I think she might have her life settled by then. So I don't know. I would recommend not making the stock recommendation on YouTube unless you want to bear the brunt of people if the trade goes wrong due to a 1% chance. Yeah, look, that's fair. I mean, look, at the end of the day, with the finance channel, you're going to have to pick stocks that you like, and you're going to have to deal with, the ramifications of them. Obviously, if Palantir goes to zero, it's not going to be the best for my channel. But this is why I'm saying do not buy this because you're listening to me. My recommendation is do the due diligence. Because if you do the due diligence, I think you will. And if you message me, I'm on Twitter, message me about the due diligence you see, and I'll see if it matches up with my due diligence. And if we come to a conclusion that, hey, this due diligence is good, then you make a decision. But like, this is one of those things where it is one of those opportunities where a lot of things are matching up. And me and Chris are looking at the bear case every day. And literally on the podcast for 30 minutes, he was trying to articulate what the bear case might be. So we're not saying blindly go buy this or anything. We're not saying buy this at all. We're saying to do the due diligence. And in real time, that's why we do a podcast every day. We are trying to update all of our thoughts with as much due diligence as possible. Here's the other thing I saw of Truist yesterday that was really interesting to me. I don't know if you guys caught this. If you follow me on Twitter, you would have @AmitIsInvesting on Twitter. Look at this. Their bank is number 58 on the App Store. It has 500,000 ratings, and it has an average of 4.7. Now, the ratings 500,000 is not the most important, even though SoFi only has 239,000, so it has more than SoFi, which is very interesting. But it's 4.7. That means people like using the app. They like using the product. This is a regional bank down 40%. I mean, I would be curious to see if PacWest and Western Alliance have this level of a digital presence and there's that much customer satisfaction within that digital presence. That doesn't mean, the bank can't fail. It's just a very interesting thing to look at as you're doing due diligence in terms of how people are actually enjoying the product. Thanks for the financial advice. I appreciate it. Shout out to Matt. He won the cowbell. I'm going to have to give away more cowbells because people were sad they didn't win the cowbell. I'm going to have to go buy some more cowbells and give them away because you guys want the cowbells. Truist says the lowest saw that chart, but you can pick from the lowest 10 from that chart and trade. I personally prefer PACW. Yeah, that's fair. Look, I haven't done the due diligence on PACW at all, to be honest. I've done it on Truist because some of their like on their 10K, if you look at their fair value, they say the fair value of their company should be $40.15. If you sell off all their assets and not their net income, interest, and insurance earning businesses. So like, there's a lot of value to generate on the business outside of their assets. And even if you sell off the assets, it comes down to about $40. So that's the due diligence I've done. And again, due diligence takes time. So if you've done due diligence on PacWest, then that's fair. Okay, what else do we got? Yeah, I want a cowbell. All right, I got to get more cowbells. After I didn't win a cowbell, I went on a long walk to consider my life choices. Oh my gosh. I asked ChatGPT if I should buy Palantir, and it said I should because it does. Well, I would buy Palantir after that earnings. So that earnings was amazing. But again, I do think Palantir can go back down to the 7s. So we got to give it some time to see. All right, guys, that's it for me. I got to go do life stuff, work stuff. I actually have to go to a doctor's appointment right now. That's pretty much it. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. We will see you tonight for, I think, SoFi Weekly. I have to discuss with Tanner if we're doing a SoFi podcast. If not, Palantir Weekly, me, Sachin, Matt, Chris. We've got a lot to talk about. Kathy's back in the stock, Palantir earnings, tons of stuff to discuss. So we'll see you later at 11 p.m. Eastern, and we'll keep discussing everything with Palantir. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Good night. Thank you for being here, and I will see you later tonight. Bye-bye.